Okay, I want to call the Village of East Dundee Board meeting to order. It's April 6th, 2026, 6 o'clock. Do roll call.
Trustee Coonsey? Present. Trustee Mahoney?
Here.
Trustee Oakland?
Here.
Trustee Guma?
Here.
Trustee Sauter? Here. Trustee Saviano?
Here.
And President Pierce.
Here. Do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have the proclamation?
Is it in the packet?
Oh, no. I didn't get it.
Marco, do we have the
Proclamation?
proclamation?
Arbor Day. Johnny on the spot.
Thank you. I didn't see that. Okay, Arbor Day proclamation. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees in our village increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now, therefore, I, Dan Pearson, President of the Village of East Dundee, do hereby proclaim April 24th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the Village of East Dundee, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. In witness thereof, I have here to set my hand officially and cause to be affixed the seal of the Village of East Dundee on the 6th day of April 2026. All right.
Yay, trees.
Let me say that, we've been dealing with that.
Right?
Okay, do we have anybody for public comment? Anyone? Okay. Then I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
I will move to approve the consent agenda. Item A, the regular village board meeting minutes dated March 16th, 2026. Item B, to accept the warrants list in the amount of $275,294.77. To approve a resolution rejecting all bids for the procurement of a contract for the rehabilitation of well number 3 standpipe. And finally, item D, to approve a resolution authorizing renewal of an agreement with Hughes Environmental Consulting, Inc. for certified public wastewater operator services. Second.
Any discussion?
I do have one question on this. Item D, our guy, Hughes. Phil, does he ever express to you, I only want to do this for X number of years more? Out of curiosity?
He does not.
Okay. Because I just don't want us to get stuck in a situation where this contract runs out and then we have no answer to what happens next, you know? And I don't want the only option to be forward when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
My conversations with Mr. Hughes, he's thoroughly enjoys working here and working with us and our staff, and
Good.
it's a great fit for him and his
professional desires and interests, and unless something were to change at some point, which we have no reason to believe otherwise, I
Yeah.
think he's here for certainly for the duration of this
Yes,
contract
yes.
term.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Kunzi?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
And Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
And that brings us to other agenda items. A,
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution appointing an agreement between the village and Lucy DeLamp of MERPA regarding Motor Monday event coordination.
Second.
any discussion?
I mean, I will make one discussion item and just say thank you, Lucy.
Yes.
because
Yeah.
Motor Monday is a great thing. And, I know that there's probably a lot of people responsible for making it happen, but none more than you, I'm sure.
Thank
So,
you very much. It's been
thank
a
you.
real pleasure, and I continue to enjoy it very much. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you out there, especially on the last one, because the last weekend is, the car show on Saturday is MERPA. On Sunday, there's the British Car Show, and then Monday is the Motor Monday. So I really appreciate you being there for the one in September.
Sometimes you have them on Mondays every time, and sometimes we have a board meeting. on
Not
Mondays.
anymore. We moved to the
worked it.
second.
We could park
We
our golf
worked it.
carts in it.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. They are officially a motor vehicle.
Yeah, the calendar was rejiggered so that
We
the
changed
second Monday of the
Oh.
month so that
It doesn't.
it can
Specific-
accommodate us.
Specifically to accommodate all of you.
Oh, wow.
That was
Thank
my
you.
request.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. It's going to work out great.
And Lucy, really quick, how are you looking for volunteers? Do you still need more? Do you
Well,
always, like, where are you at?
Catherine and I have been working on developing volunteers. I got a couple of really good ones at the end of last year, and I think they'll both be back. I have turned to my MERPA board and told them I expect to have more participation from them now that we are very official. So hopefully that will work out. More volunteers is always better, because the more people I have, the easier it is to start the event and to just get it going and just be able to sit back and watch the party happen, because honestly, I just stand there and the party happens around me. It's fun. It's great fun. And people say really nice things to me as well, so that always makes me feel really good when I had a gentleman approached me at the parade and said, "This is the best car show in the Fox Valley."
That's
Thank
awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
And town. And town.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take a
Trustee
vote.
Kunzi?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
Okay. Agenda item B.
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution approving procurement of automated external defibrillator equipment and maintenance software in excess of $25,000 from General Medical Devices, Inc.
Second.
Any discussion? This is to replace our existing ones.
Yeah, inside the vehicles, right?
Inside vehicles and
There's a note in
buildings.
here that those have been in there for longer than 10 years. Is that true? I thought, I could have sworn this happened on my time on the board, and I've only been on the board for 7 years.
Batteries need to be replaced depending on, batteries every 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. Okay.
And then,
So it's definitely over 4 or 5 years.
pads are usually every 2 years. And then some of them, they just don't get updated and they stop making them. So we're going through it right now for VFW too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
What
one.
To get replacement parts is a pain. Technology changes so quick. But they work great, so.
Yeah, it looks like the pad expiration is the thing that goes out first,
Yeah.
even before the batteries, and so some of them are definitely
Yeah,
past
the
due.
gel dries up and then the adhesive.
Do we know if we've ever used the ones in the vehicles before? We have. Okay, good.
Oh, awesome.
With success? Okay.
Oh, no.
Well, I mean,
Don't ask fast.
I've been on a lot of calls with AEDs, with the police showing up first and using them, and a lot of them save them. I mean, it's early CPR and defibrillating, so they work. I've had people talking to me after they've been shocked, so.
Have we had issues where we tried to use them and they didn't work because the batteries were dead or pads issues like that, or?
No, so how this came about is when we initially were approached about the AED donation for the depot, it reminded me of previous experience with who thinks about these things, who remembers to check them,
Thanks,
and,
Lucy.
you know, so I said, what about all the other ones we have? And so then it came to light that we didn't have any kind of service agreement in place for them, and it's really not on anybody's radar, so, you know, contracting with somebody else to manage it is gonna put us in a better place, so. But we haven't had any issues.
In the grand scheme of things, it's a low price tag
Right.
compared to
Mhm.
a lot of the spending we do, so.
Yeah.
And on the options, it sounds like buying them all up front gets us all up to code a lot faster and would save us money, so it seems like that's probably the way to go, or at least that's where I
Right.
see it.
We should actually consider budgeting for, you know, 2 every year or every other year, or probably in 2 or 3 more years, because otherwise, in 5 to 10 years, we're gonna be replacing them all again. But maybe they'll get cheaper, I don't know. Okay, let's, take a vote.
Trustee Coonsey,
Yes.
trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
trustee Oakland,
Yes.
trustee Guma,
Yes.
trustee Sauter,
Yes.
and trustee Saviano.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along to C. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I will move to approve resolution waiving bidding requirements and approving a contract for the well number 3 standpipe rehabilitation project with TMI Coatings LLC.
Second.
Phil, do you wanna give us an explanation?
Because they're out of Wisconsin, did you say?
TMI's out of Minnesota.
Minnesota, okay.
Can you dive into the letter or the email that we received from the other contractor too? Did you get that email?
I did. So the way this particular process unfolded was back on March 19th. We were supposed to open bids at 10:30 in the morning for the standpipe rehabilitation project. There was a glitch or a technical issue with the online bidding platform, this Quest CDN. And so we had used the same service last year for another project and it worked fine. Unfortunately, this glitch prevented the bids from being opened that morning. It's my understanding the contractors could be seen, but the bid amounts could not be seen. So throughout the day, communicated with Baxter Woodman. Baxter Woodman finally got the information late in the afternoon that they were able, this Quest, this online bidding platform was able to retrieve the bids and the bid amounts, and they provided those to us as staff, and so we kind of worked collaboratively with Baxter Woodman, Elrod Friedman, to thoughtful consideration on what to do next, and we recognized that because the bid advertisement for bids specified a certain date and time for opening the bids and reading them aloud, that opportunity did not happen. So we felt the best path forward was to reject bids. Also in the process, we recognized that the low bidder is not registered in the state of Illinois. So we looked into an alternative option and discovered that TMI Coatings is, and they also have a fantastic track record, if you will, with Dixon Engineering, who is a well-known tank consultant in the Midwest region, and they've worked on other projects for us. In fact, they were the consultant that helped us with these 25 tower repainting projects several years ago. They're also starting to help us with the 68 tower painting project. So put a high value in Dixon's opinion, and so they essentially communicated to Baxter Woodman that they that this TMI Coatings is on their unlimited contractor list, meaning that they wouldn't have any objections or concerns with using them on any of their projects. So,
Is the
Presented
other
to
company
you.
not on their list?
pardon?
Is the other company not on their list?
I don't know.
So,
It doesn't sound like they had as much familiarity with the low bidder.
his email, and I mean, I do feel like I guess we should talk about this in a public meeting because foible now that it isn't an email. His email contends that he is licensed in Illinois. And, I mean, that's not obviously proof that he is, but we know for sure he's not.
It's my understanding that there's a little bit of contradiction in the low bidder's submittal. So they, being the low bidder, presented themselves as M.W. Cole Semper Fi. They also, and it may be a subsidiary or some other part of their company, not sure exactly, this M.W. Cole Construction. They, it's my understanding, are registered in Illinois. However, the low bidder is not that company, it's this other company. So we can only go by what we have, what they submitted in a formal bid submittal environment. And so at this point, our low bidder is not registered in the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
And there would be some challenges if there were problems with the project, and I mentioned that. Hopefully all got my email earlier, but there may be some potential issues. If there were problems that needed some type of legal assistance, we'd have to, it would present some challenges to that process if we
And it's a difference of only $2,000.
Sure.
correct between the low bidder and
Yeah.
the next low bidder.
So, when we did the one on 68, that was 7 brothers, I believe they were called.
That's correct.
Did they didn't turn in a bid though, huh?
Scott,
They did not.
repeat that, I couldn't hear you.
The company that painted the water tower on 68 was named 7 Brothers. And I was just curious, we didn't hear from them at all.
We did not, no. And there are some others. This is a relatively specialized type of profession in the construction world, this tank painting,
Yeah.
coating profession. There are a handful of other contractors, but for whatever reason, at this point, other
They might
contractors
be too
may not
busy.
want a project the size, maybe they're booked out for the season.
Yeah.
It's hard to know, but there's some big ones out there, Valdivia, and other consultants, contractors, but.
This one, I've kind of gone back and forth kind of in my discussions with staff on this one. I'm a little bit all over. It's not my forte. I know a lot about construction. I know a lot about the contractors in the area. I don't know anybody of these 3 contractors at all. Never heard of them. I didn't really get any time to really research them. And I'm just kind of looking over it from like face value here. There's a couple options I look at it as. We're not at a bidding process because we're putting that to the side now. We've already rejected it, right? So we're saying we have 3 good bids on the table. We're saying we should go with this middle bid. I understand that philosophy, but I do want to see time to do the due diligence. And I know we have engineers and I know we have educated staff, and Baxter, Woodman, all these people are very highly qualified and educated people. But if we were to sit this until the next meeting, all right, meaning 2 weeks, I take it we're having a meeting in 2 weeks, correct? So if,
May or may not. We're not sure.
okay, so if we were to sit it for that, we would still be in the same position we are now, correct? Because this is not a bid process anymore. The bid's already in hand, we're waiving it. We could do the same motion in 2 weeks, correct?
Yes.
I would feel much more comfortable actually looking into these contractors a little bit deeper on the surface, because I'm seeing subcontractor letters here, and they're just kind of really bland. And when I mean bland, I mean like the contractors that they're requesting bids from do not appear to be contractors that do this type of work. So I would really like to see work they've done in the area. I would actually like to see all 3 bids have the work they've done in the area. So I know they're all from out of town, I get that, but that's where I would feel comfortable. So, and I trust Dixon, but on the other hand, I don't know them, and I'm the one that has to answer for it when it fails, and these have a reputation for failing. So there's a neighboring town that has had a failure. There's been a lot of failures. These coatings are really, they're intense. You look at a car that's painted in a factory in the perfect conditions and it rusts, and this is being painted inside a water tower and then submerged. So I just want to make sure we're spending $500,000. All these bids are within 2% of each other. I just want to make sure we make the right decision. So
I would just note that since we've rejected all bids at this point, none of the contractors
if we don't award a contract this evening, would have an obligation to keep their bids at the same level in play. And I would guess they probably would. I don't know how much the risk is, or if you've spoken to any of them specifically
I
about
have
that.
not, no.
But since, there are requirements in the bidding documents that you keep the bids for a certain amount of time, now that all the bids have been rejected, that would be the only risk you would have to, is that someone might, not want to honor a bid that was previously submitted at the same price.
That's understandable. I think they've probably all invested their due diligence and good time on it, and we're ready to do it for that price. So I can see it as an option, but I'm guessing all of them would come through with their bid if we chose them. So
I agree with Trustee Oakland on this.
I think the concern I had on the other bid that was presented was that if you look at their website, they don't have any list of what they do or specialty in this area. It's just a general contact form, and there was no list of any expertise in this department. Their letter said painting these water towers is all we do, but then it said we're doing real estate development in Washington, we're doing demolition projects in this other state. So it did seem like not a focus on water towers, where this one does seem like their primary specialty is just painting water towers, and they had a lot of examples of their work. Just at a glance, looking at what they submitted in their websites, it seemed like this direction seemed much more backed by credentials than the other one that was just take my word for it in an email.
I agree on the first bidder, the lowest bidder, having issues. I just really want to see the third two. There was another, I think it was Newman Companies. They're, like I said, they're all within 2% of each other if we're going to make a decision. And we got one that does a ton of work locally or something like that, and we weren't aware of it. We should probably know that, because you're saying Seven Brothers did a great job. They didn't fit this one. We might have another contractor similar to them that has a reputation like them, and just want to make sure that we don't pass it up. So.
Did you once we got into this situation, did you research any of these guys yourself and
I
and do
personally
some
didn't. I
of the due
relied on
diligence?
the feedback that I got from both Baxter and Dixon.
Okay.
Well, and we don't always see all the bids. We go on staff recommendation. And so
Yeah,
I'm very
absolutely.
comfortable with the recommendation that he's given, because we didn't see all of them for the last one either, for all of them. So I'm okay with moving forward with the vote.
Well, we
I see
have-
your point, but I also, this is why they're there also.
And it's why we're here too, to
Yeah.
agree to it, so we're the accountability for the public.
Yeah, I guess I'm not opposed to pushing it back 2 weeks, but I'm not 100%
What-
sure.
I guess if we push it back 2 weeks, what is the goal? What is the expectation?
Just to make sure we have the best contractor out of the three. So it looked like, this is my take on it, and I'll just be clear. We had a low bidder that was rejected, and then our engineers and our staff looked into the second lowest bidder. Well, that was using the standard bidding process, right, where it's lowest qualified or responsible bidder. Well, now we're rejecting that whole process, and we're going to just a bidding process. So this would move us to the point where we could actually say, hey, this is more qualified than the other one. And I want to make sure that the third one is being looked at just as hard as the first two were. So.
Okay.
And the
Yeah, so
prices are
still-
within
still
10,000.
leaning on our water experts, but saying, could you look at all three and give us a brief summary on, would you prefer the one that's just slightly more? Just making sure that they looked at all three and give us their assessment, since we're now not in that bidding process, but we just want to make sure we choose the best of the three.
I also just don't want to set a precedent for having to check all of that out and then not trusting what we have them in place for too. That's
Yeah,
where
what
I'm
are we paying
I'm saying.
Baxter Women for?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's
You
why
know.
we pay them.
That's just one thing I wanted to clarify. Like, the rationale for rejecting all the bids, for the record, is because there was problems with the public opening of the bid.
Legally.
So, not to do with anybody's qualifications, not to do with anybody's bid amounts. The rejection of all the bids was simply based upon the fact that the bid process did not follow standard protocol. When that was gone, the consultant that we're paying to advise us looked at all 3 bids and said, your best bet is to go with TMI. So that is what we brought forward today. We do not have the in-house expertise to evaluate this and to give you a recommendation. So we can go back to the consultant and have them provide additional documentation to give more clarity as to why they recommended the second bidder. But I don't think waiting 2 weeks will have them bring back a different recommendation than they're making right now. But we can certainly do it.
And that's Dixon that you're talking about? Is the consultant?
Baxter and Woodring with Dixon. Because Dixon will be the consulting engineer
Yeah.
on site during the project. So they'll be the ones that will be evaluating the work and working in tandem with whoever is the selected.
I'm just valuing it as risk and reward. We're looking at 2 weeks. It's not a huge timeline
Just
if we're
also
to move it.
to clarify for, even when we are bidding, they're always looking at it, it's because it's lowest and most responsible, so they would never recommend just the lowest bidder.
Right.
It's always looking at making sure that they're also a responsible and competent contractor. Otherwise, it can give you reason to reject the low bid. And that wasn't meant to say we can't do anything further, but I just want to make sure everyone knows when we are doing something pursuant to a bid, they're still making sure that they're a still responsible bidder and vetting it.
So we have a vote, we have a second, so there's
You
no more
have to-
discussion.
If you want to postpone it, you have to make the motion to do so.
We would have to
Right now.
still vote on this though, don't we?
No.
You could,
Move to amend.
instead, the move-on could withdraw the motion, and then if we don't want to vote on the motion to approve on the table, and also to waiving competitive bidding does also require a 2/3 vote, just so everyone is aware. But you could withdraw it and then just have a new motion to postpone or continue it to next.
My feeling
meeting.
is I think we should just move on with this and
I
take the
agree.
recommendations
Baxter
from
and
people that
Woodman-
we
Well,
pay.
I guess what I would say is we should have somebody motion to table it for 2 weeks, and then we'll vote on that and see if it passes or not, and then we'll know.
I'll make the motion
Well,
to,
right, I'm sorry, right
The
now we have
motion already
a
happened.
pending
Okay.
motion that's to approve it, so.
Yeah, but if we have a
someone-
pending motion, you can always motion to table something during a motion, can't you?
You
We've done that
can-
many times.
Amend?
Yeah, you can, or someone could simply withdraw the motion. We just have to deal with the pending motion on the table
Or we could see if
amend
it passes, and if
Yeah,
not,
we could
then
vote on it, see if it passes or if it doesn't. If it doesn't, then we can have a new motion.
Yeah, all of those are perfectly good options.
But if it doesn't pass, explain what needs to be done if we eventually want to award this contract to the same bidder.
Yeah, it would require, I believe it was super.
It's just more
yeah, it's more
complicated, so.
complicated. Yeah, I think we would prefer, and I think that's why it would just be much cleaner is we either just withdraw the motion and then and then have a new motion to postpone it, or have a consensus that we are gonna vote on the motion tonight, that we're all, agreeing that it will pass, because otherwise bringing it back in a week and voting on it again after denying it is gonna be a very complicated
I'm just really
process.
struggling to understand why we would not trust the people that we put in
It-
place
it's-
and pay a lot of money to give the recommendation.
agree.
it's not trust, it's just accountability. It's to be able to
That's-
actually review
But
things.
that's saying there's no
And
accountability.
when this has happened in the past, I'm personally familiar with the contractors, so I know we're gonna get a good job. This case, I'm not. And when you get it Thursday, and it's Good Friday, and seriously, the state's website's down today too, so you add that into it, it's just not enough to make a decision that I can say to the voters when I'm in this town that I made the right decision. And that's what I'm asking for. I'm asking for enough time to do my due diligence, which I didn't
I understand.
have
You're saying
because
you
of the
don't know them.
situation.
I don't know every therapist, but it doesn't mean they don't do great jobs. So it's the personally, knowing
It's
them
not a-
doesn't
this
trust the
isn't
Baxter
personal.
Woodman's thing.
This
You
isn't
said you don't
personal.
know them.
What's up?
You said you didn't know them.
I didn't know the contractors.
Yes, that's my point.
These three contractors, yeah,
Right.
I don't. And that,
That's my point,
Okay.
well, I guess we're in a disagreement on this one.
which is fine.
I think we should
I
go
should
through with the
vote.
vote.
So withdraw first?
Well, it's up to Tricia. She
Unless-
made the
yeah,
motion.
I
Do
made
you
the
wanna-
motion.
Do you want to withdraw it
Do
or
you want to
not?
withdraw, or do you want to?
No, I want to vote.
No,
So now,
I
he
think,
still has.
Oh, wait,
the-
no, I seconded it, didn't I?
no, trustee Coonsey made the motion.
You made it, so you decide.
I would say let's just call the question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I would say call the question.
Okay,
Go ahead and vote.
Vote.
I'm gonna take roll then.
Mhm.
Trustee Coonsey,
Yes.
trustee Mahoney,
Yes.
trustee Oakland,
No.
trustee Guma,
No.
trustee Sauter,
Yes.
trustee Saviano.
Yes.
Okay.
4-2.
And because we do need a supermajority vote, as the president, we need
Yes.
his vote in this case to get us there.
Trustee Pearson is a yes for the record.
Okay. Discussion direction regarding proposed text amendments related to gaming cafes. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure.
This is yours.
So previously, when we discussed some changes to the village code regarding gaming in general, a question was brought up specifically about gaming cafes and their
Oh, is
presence.
Ryan gonna recuse himself?
Do you want to leave the room?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave the room.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
We'll call you back because we already have exec. Thank you. Lost my train of thought. It's coming back. Okay, so.
Okay.
So, currently, we have 4, is it 4 or 5, Franco?
4.
4. So, village attorney, myself, and Franco went and visited all 4 of these last month, and it was a very interesting experience. State law requires that gaming cafes have food available, and the establishment must have a liquor license. And the food available in one place was a single bag of Cheetos that was about this big. And I thought, if I buy that, when I walk in the door, they are no longer compliant. There's no more food in this area left to be sold. Now granted, they might have had more in the back, I don't know. But it was just very odd to me that having a single bag of Cheetos constituted the serving of food. So that is where we came up with the recommendation that there be a higher level of food available. We asked the others what kind of food they all served, and some of them had hot dogs or sort of microwavable stuff. But the others just had the chips and the pretzels and whatever. But anyways, we sent this to PZHC. They also made a recommendation. It's in the packet. We really liked the suggestion with the pawnbrokers about not allowing it in downtown, so we adopted that recommendation as well. Keep gaming cafes out of the downtown, and then special uses everywhere else with the requirement that we're recommending, which is that they have a full-service kitchen.
That they have a what?
A full-service kitchen,
Oh.
or some sort of kitchen amenity that can accommodate the serving of food.
Would
Do you mean-
any of the existing ones be non-compliant?
Yes, but they're all grandfathered.
Okay.
Okay.
But they would still have to figure out another way to be able to serve food within health department requirements.
Yeah, we don't really have a solid answer right now about the food question, about whether or not the existing ones are compliant with what constitutes food, so we're still working through that.
Okay.
Is that more of a state requirement that we're just trying to make sure
Yeah,
they're
the state
following?
just says snacks or some side of food. It could be chips and things. It doesn't have to be a full kitchen. And my thought is if we go trying to make somebody put a full kitchen in, we're pushing them to Carpentersville or Westland or somewhere else. A kitchen is, we just replaced our hood in the VFW, just the hood, and we got the hood for free, brand new, over $100,000. And that's just a hood. That doesn't even include putting in an entire kitchen. So then we're starting to confuse, is it a restaurant at this point or is it a kitchen? And all we're doing is putting more stresses on our businesses by saying, you gotta put in a kitchen. I don't see why we would wanna do that.
Well, I see your point, but this is specific to gaming cafes, and so
Correct.
if you want, like, this is a values decision for the board to make. if we want to have gaming cafes everywhere in the village that will compete with our existing businesses, that will dilute the existing businesses and what they currently get from video gaming, which is fine if that's what we want. But right now, we have quite a bit of video gaming everywhere, and we have what I would call a delicate balance of more restaurants that, and bars that have gaming as an ancillary function to their primary purpose, and then we have just a handful, 4 of special gaming cafes. If we want to see growth in gaming cafes, we can do that. But is that what we really want?
Yeah, I thought we were seeing the video gaming or the gambling as something that is an incentive to help our bars and restaurants survive. But if we're incentivizing non-bars and restaurants to have more of those, they're competing and pulling those sales away from the restaurants and bars. So I do like the idea of trying to disincentivize having so many gaming cafes, and adding a kitchen would be something that would make it so we'd have less of a cheap startup on something that pays ludicrously well for no investment and competes then with our restaurants.
Is there a difference with, because Eastside Cafe prepares food, but they don't have a full commercial kitchen. So is there a term for what they have and do? That's kind of
kinda
like a
my
middle,
question was.
where you,
Yeah, I
middle of the
don't-
road thing, where it's like not a bag of chips, but like they make breakfast sandwiches and stuff, you know?
M&H is kind of the same.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be affected by this, right?
No, I'm just saying for the definition.
She's trying to
instead of-
say, instead of
Can
a
we
full
put things
Full
kitchen,
into
kitchen.
buckets?
can we
Okay.
say,
Yeah.
yeah,
Is there like a
Is there
happier
something-
medium where it's
yeah.
not a bag of chips, but it's not a full commercial expensive kitchen? Because then we're encouraging more restaurants with gaming, because that's basically what that is going to end up becoming if
But
you do a
it's
full
not,
commercial kitchen.
It's
I-
not. Anybody can walk into any bar or restaurant in town. I can take my entire family. A cafe, you gotta be 21 to enter. Nobody's gonna say, let's go to
Right.
dinner
No,
at
that's-
a cafe.
yes.
It's not, it's just realistically, it sounds great, but all we're doing is forcing people to not open. And that's fine. If you wanna make it a special permit, great, we'll make it a special permit. And I think maybe you just have one cafe per strip mall. That's fine with me. But and obviously, we don't want them to pop up everywhere, and I think we've pretty much regulated that anyway. But I put into Chat GPT why we wouldn't want to do it. They came up with it, and obviously, it's the build out is a huge cost on somebody. It discourages occupancy for vacant storefronts. We already have a bunch of them already, so we're going to keep them. It doesn't align with their actual business model because they're not dealing with food. It puts a disadvantage compared to bars and restaurants, again, because kids can't go in, and they're there for the gaming. They're not there for their food. I know with the VFW, the only reason why we keep the kitchen open throughout the day is to put people in the seats. You're not making money off that food, and if you are, your rates are way up there for the food, just to pay for it. Because I know we lose about $2,000 a month just with the kitchen, with hiring people in and the food costs. And that's just to keep the costs fine. When we were shut down in January, we lost a ton of money just for the bar and gaming. We lost a ton. And you go making these cafes have kitchens, it's going to kill them. And they're just going to go somewhere else. They're not going to do it, though, because they're not used to doing that.
I like the Campton Hills Code. It says for B, preparation of variety of food and beverages offered. And then for C, it says the creation and operation of a commercial kitchen on the premises where gaming is situated, or a partnership with an establishment that operates a commercial kitchen.
Right.
Something like that is even better. Like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, you don't serve
Yeah.
food, but you're connected with this other restaurant and their menus are there for ordering, or something where it's like, I think that's something way better than a bag of chips.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering the commercial kitchen, just how it could be abused. Like that's kind of was like when I first read it, I'm like, is this like someone putting in a pizza toaster oven and a fridge and then saying they're in compliant? So I didn't know what the definition of a commercial kitchen actually was. Because you might get somebody who's like a really good, honest player. They want to put in a $30,000 kitchen. Somebody else is like, no, you can put in a toaster. So I just wanted to make sure what the requirements of our term of commercial kitchen would be. Because if it's going to, I guess the definition would be made by us, correct? If we're going to do
Is
this.
it already in there, Caitlin?
I believe we have a definition of commercial kitchen. It's also, oftentimes people just adopt their state regulations for
Yeah, that's-
definitions for
that was-
commercial kitchens, which is often what is followed, because it is, we're using that term, but it is like a very specific term
Yeah.
to make sure that stuff like that doesn't.
What's the exact wording of the state ordinance
I can
with regards to the kitchen?
find it.
If you, yeah. And does that differ?
Bars are hard to open.
Oh,
Bars and
you want it
restaurants
for
are hard to
the
open. They have a huge failure rate.
They do.
What makes us think making them put a commercial kitchen is gonna help them?
Yeah,
I don't think
We're
it
not
was
talking
designed,
I
I
don't
don't think it's
think
designed
a
that way.
restaurant. This is a
It's-
gaming cafe.
Correct, it's a gaming cafe that's gonna have a restaurant at this point. And they have to have a liquor license, so it's a bar restaurant at this point. Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna want to do that?
Wow.
I think it's us deciding that we don't want to have a bunch of gaming cafes pop up in all of our strip malls, and that we
We
are
can
kind of
create
capping
an
it.
ordinance that says one per strip mall.
Yeah, I like that idea.
I don't know how you
But-
would do that.
I
I think-
it's two things. It's like let's get the definition in there,
Right.
and then let's decide what the policy is. I think, right?
I would like to know what it is that we would be requiring them to do rather than a term. That's why I try to Google it. There's a lot, so we're here. And, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think that someone should be able to have a bag of chips and call it good, though. I think that's just abusing the system. I like if a partnership with a neighboring business that they work with or something, that's kind of cool because they're feeding off each other, and that's how we build community. Yeah.
Basically
So-
just had menus. I think Distant Social did the same thing with Aliano's. A lot of the restaurants and bars do that if they're not serving food. So,
I think that the state law, obviously it's a state law, but tying gaming to alcohol was obviously a terrible idea. The food part of it, I mean, I don't understand, I guess, what the idea is to say, you guys have to serve bad food, because that's what it's gonna be. Even if we can put a kitchen in, it's gonna be bad food, because they don't care about the food.
Right.
To me, I understand the idea of making a higher bar for entry. That I get. I just don't feel like the kitchen is the right option, personally.
okay.
Because, I don't know. Can we make, when we do like liquor licenses, or gaming licenses even maybe, we increase the amount that you can have, right? Like you can never have more than you currently have unless you pass an ordinance that says you're adding to that. Can we do the same thing for a license for a video gaming cafe, or is that too specific?
So that is partially what we're trying to achieve by updating the current ordinance. So if you remember previously, there wasn't the distance requirement in between an existing one and another one, which is why we got the two next door to each other in the same strip mall.
Mm-hmm.
So part of this is adding that distance requirement so that one can't be located within a certain vicinity of another. But really, like, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, it totally makes sense. But what we've tried to understand from our attorneys is what is a really solid way to not have an explosive growth of these, and how can we justify excluding them from the historic area? And then also, like, if we wanted to make them a special use in the other areas, which is what's being proposed, I can tell you the second we put this into place, we're gonna get, probably 10 applications. And the board will have to review every one and say yes or no to every one, and then it will be the same issue of, well, I don't wanna say yes to this one and no to this one. And you can establish it on the merits of the business, but it's also really hard to split hairs. But it's also, we get inundated with requests for gaming cafes. not even kidding you, like one a week,
Yeah.
2 a week.
Yeah.
People come out of the woodwork, they wanna open them everywhere. They wanna put them out at Palumbo Strip Mall that has the Big B Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And we keep saying like, please hold out for a more community-friendly tenant. Which isn't to say the other ones aren't community-friendly, it's just to say, what is the right size? What do you think is the right size for this community? Is it 4? Is it 10? Is it 8? Is it 30? Because if we don't establish some kind of criteria that we can
Point to.
have legally defensible,
Yeah.
then we will just have them everywhere. And maybe that's fine. I think that why we brought this forward was because the feedback we heard from the board at the time was, we want to limit them. We think that there's probably about the right amount right now, and maybe we could have one more, but we don't wanna have 10 more.
Right.
And I think too, some level of food there is being responsible because of the alcohol consumption. So I think that there's that safety aspect too. Even if it's bad food, it's still gonna soak up some
A
alcohol.
lot of people go
you
to
know.
cafes though that don't
So-
drink because they don't want the bar atmosphere. So
Right.
they'll go there and not drink. So
I think something where it's like a lighter, like food preparation or a partnership with a local restaurant or something. I think something along those lines gives at least some variety, but it's not saying like just skirt the system and have a bag
Yeah.
of chips.
We can,
I
we
don't
can
know.
craft it that way.
that's nice, but again, what's the partnership? Well, I got the menus. So are we're wasting our time spinning our wheels? Can we follow the state law like we before, or can we say one per strip mall and go from there?
I think the distance is better than one per strip mall. 'Cause
Well,
that's
do the
with
distance, that's
growth,
fine,
that's- yeah.
because we're keeping them out of downtown, we don't want them here, but the distance is fine too.
How about ownership? Can we regulate how many a person owns?
Is that possible? Not have more than one owned by the same company in town?
It would be possible, it would potentially be really difficult
'Cause
if
you put in someone's
people would
name.
just, oftentimes large companies just for like every real estate development or
LLC.
something, like
There's
create an
another
LLC.
yeah.
And
Okay.
so it potentially by who's like the the manager, like the principal of it, something of that nature could be done. It would just have to be probably person or principal specific, and it would potentially be an easy-ish thing for people to work around.
Okay. I just don't want to see 4 of them in a row or something like that, where you have like this mini casino,
Right.
and it's all the same owner, and it's like, this wasn't the intention that anybody's seen, and it's not for them or against them. It's just, it seems like that's not the idea.
Yeah.
So,
Can we cap the number like Trustee Kunze was asking, like we do with liquor licenses? Have gaming cafe licenses capped until one leaves, we don't add another?
Yeah, you could do that. You could have distance restrictions. You could have a cap on a number. Obviously, zoning restrictions, which I think already are in place. But there's a number of tools that could, as well as various conditions on could do a percentage of income has to be brought in by food or beverage sales. I know some do for bars aren't allowed unless you bring in 60% is by the sale of your gross revenue income that's generated. It has to be food sales to keep out just bars in some communities. So there's a number of different things that could be done to create restrictions on this.
I think we should just do distance, if anything, then at this point. The reason being is, okay, let's cap it at 5. Well, when one closes, who's the next one that gets to open up? Now we gotta set up a bidding war or something? How do we pick the next person that wants to do it? If we're getting inundated all the time with people that want gaming cafes, who are we gonna pick? Why are we making our jobs harder? Just do it by distance and say, we don't want them right next to each other. That's fine.
Yeah.
what would be
So
that
what's that number?
comfort of distance? Yeah.
Yeah.
If I may recommend, the pawnbrokers one was 2,500 feet.
Which is basically a half mile. In the neighborhood of a half mile.
Yeah.
That's
I'm pulling up GPS right now.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
like
5,330 feet or something.
cannabis
So-
establishments, I think, what is
I think-
1,500 in state law?
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of pawn broker applications, right?
No.
I understand what you're saying about the gaming cafe because it's a low amount that you have to have up front to open it, and yeah, I guess I would say let's make it a mile.
What?
A mile? I don't think we need that many of these things.
How far is it
We're
from?
only 2.7 square miles is the
That's
village.
right.
I was gonna
We're
say.
already over.
What's that?
We're not a very big town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
okay.
I mean, we're trying to cap density, but yeah, that would just be the same as a cap, which I'm in favor of,
Okay.
or
Yeah, I'm
So-
fine with that.
finding a distance, but still capping it, because we already do have, $4.7 million that people gladly part with in our town, and would like to see that go down a bit, or have it only be to incentivize at bars, but to open one of these gaming cafes, it's pretty inexpensive, and then you could be making, $200,000 a year pretty easily with almost no
Just
investment
cap it at
cost.
4. Make our lives really easy, cap it at 4.
Yeah,
If
but
somebody leaves or goes away,
But the next board could just raise that up with no problem at all. And say,
oh,
no,
I see.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is if we do it by distance, then
It-
We
what's
could change
just
it.
another
keep the
layer.
new board to
They could
No,
change
that's
too.
true.
change that too?
No, you're correct in that, yes.
We're clearly inundated with the machines. Like, they're in the gas stations. They're everywhere. I tried to go once to find a gas station that didn't have them. I don't think we have one. So, I don't know. I get that they're kind of strange, but they're also like a bar right there, or a gas station right down the street. So I don't like them when they're next to each other, by all means. I think like a whole strip mall of them is ridiculous. I would be okay with a distance, but not using it for another reason. Like if we wanted to keep it one per strip mall and then do like an 1/8 mile or a 1/4 mile or something like that, that would be one thing. I don't think it's really going to change the amount of users at this point. And that's the sad part of it, because there's just so many of them. Like we're not,
It'll just dilute
yeah.
what our bars are making.
Is it, you know, we've been talking about the distance from cafe to cafe. I mean, does it make sense if our goal is to try and protect the restaurants and the bars and the gas stations that are using this as another one, to include them or another cafes, or the distance between cafes or another establishment that has gaming in it, whether it be a bar, restaurant?
Oh. So you couldn't have a gaming cafe next to a bar or a restaurant that has machines in it? you mean?
Then I think we're limiting ourselves
I
even
mean,
more.
because I heard some people here saying that, you know, we would rather encourage
Yeah.
the business going to a bar and restaurant as opposed to a cafe.
Absolutely.
Something
I
that
think
serves
so.
in more ways
Because
than
they're
one.
providing more services
Mhm.
for the community.
And more jobs.
Yeah, and more, yeah.
But will they though? That's the question.
No, the bars and restaurants are, so protecting the gaming is to help the rest of their business also thrive.
Yeah, it's
I
an
like that whole
incentive.
2,500, match the same, keep it the same as
Cannabis.
the cannabis, or the pawn shops. Keep it the same,
I'm all for that.
2,500
I'm
feet.
fine with that.
2,500.
From
I'm gonna reiterate, 2,500 between another
Cafes.
cafe
Yeah.
Correct.
and another establishment with gaming terminals already established.
Yeah, one of our local bars.
Yeah.
Well, is that a bar, or restaurant, or is that a
Does
gas
it?
station?
By this definition, we
Gas
decide
station.
if
Well,
they're a
then
bar,
we pretty
restaurant.
much locked it to, they can't go anywhere, because we got,
Right,
we
Yeah.
got gas stations at every corner, so again,
right. So,
So adequately capping it, yes.
So
Or
just to recap,
disincentivizing
I
it.
have,
does it make sense? I would say 2,500 feet from another
Another
cafe,
Cafe.
another cafe.
And
And
capping the
1,500
amount
from
of
another
what we
bar.
currently have.
Or
But
some
then
other
again,
distance.
how do we pick somebody else to get it?
What's that?
So if one place decides to close or relocate to another town, who gets the next cafe?
The
Well,
most
they-
desirable of, now we have options instead of
Yeah.
just one person that we say yes or no to.
That's dangerous.
It'd just be the same procedure as if a bar.
It would have to be a lottery.
They're,
It's
It'd
not
be the
same
only
thing.
way.
I would
We're
say-
limiting cafes, we're not limiting bars.
Once
we
it's available,
absolutely
the
are
first person to
limiting
come
bars,
in
but
with
limiting
the,
liquor
It would be the
licenses.
first
We
The
only
first
can have
that
as many
submitted
liquor
an
licenses as
application
we
that
currently
met
isn't
all
that
the
how it goes
Yeah.
with
Every time
businesses
we do one,
anyway?
we have to
Yes.
increase the total amount.
As long as it was a clean
Just
way
adds another layer
that
of
had
democracy.
no way for litigation.
Right.
yes, the first one to come in, once that availability is there, that's how other businesses work too with restaurants. First person to grab that restaurant location or whatever, you know?
So if we had 5 applicants over the last year, it would be the first one that applied, correct?
Or
like
is it
we
the
would have to
first
keep,
once
like-
it's
It'd be
open?
the first one we approve.
Yeah, because if one were to leave, which would probably never happen because they make too much money, s- the whoever wanted to come in would first have to secure a lease with a place and then submit.
Yeah, so, and that's out of
So-
our hands.
The lease would, whoever got the lease first, whoever owned the space would be the person that would be able to submit first.
So
I would see a cafe owner trying to sell
Right.
the space to another operator
To hold on to
to
it.
hold on to
To
it
the
and
rights.
hold on to the space,
Yeah,
yeah.
and we've
Yeah,
already
you're
seen that.
encouraging them
Yeah, we
not to
have.
be. Because they'll be there forever at this point. But I met with 10 mayors today, and the biggest thing that they're complaining about is the state's not giving us any money anymore. They're cutting a lot of the money. Yes, I don't want to see a cafe everywhere, but we don't want to keep ourselves from making money in this town either. They're all having to raise property taxes. I don't want to see any of that either. So to me, saying, well, one cafe or only 4 cafes or 5, I just think that we should watch where we keep cutting. We're wanting to build and do all these nice things in town. We have empty buildings as it is right now. We're limiting ourselves because all they'll do is go next door, or they'll go right over the next street to another town. So, I mean, I could live with right now for the 2,500 feet per cafe,
Yeah.
1 per strip mall or whatever. Well, you're basically keeping it from being in there. See how that goes for a year, and we can revisit it if we need
Well,
to.
I'm pretty sure that if we put 2,500 in, you can't have any more in this town.
Right
You
now.
can
Pretty
verify
tight,
that before we
yeah.
bring the
Yeah.
proposed ordinance
But,
back.
and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, Dan, about revenue, but, I just think that there comes a point when there's too many.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that point is, but we're probably closer to that than not having enough.
I think we've also seen
It's a good
too
assumption.
that the additional terminals that we've added in the last 3 years haven't exponentially increased the amount of revenue that's collected. So it hasn't made more money for the village, it's just spread out the money that is currently being made amongst more people.
Yeah,
Which I think is good
which
for
hurts the
businesses.
bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
It
people can
dilutes
benefit.
their revenue.
So,
Well,
okay,
I play the games at the bars, but I don't go to the cafes. And I think that
I've never been.
I've talked to some of them. Most of them, from what I've been told, they don't go there to drink. They go there to gamble. That's what they stay out of the bars because they don't
Yeah.
want to be.
and they have plenty of
Exposed to all
places in East Dundee to do that right now.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll draft it with a commercial kitchen or a partnership with a local restaurant for some kind of food delivery, or not a Grubhub, but like has to be with an established local restaurant. Distance of 2,500 feet from existing gaming cafes. We'll check and see if the 2,500 feet would eliminate any additional ones, and also cap of 4. You can think about that for the next 2 weeks if you want to change it to 5 or leave it at 4, and then we'll put it on for the next agenda.
So the other thing, is everybody okay also with this establishment? Customer seating capacity of the establishment is 4 or less customer seats for each terminal, excluding the terminal seats. So in addition, so it's not like you can have just 4, 5 or 6 games is the minimum or maximum?
6.
6. So it's
need
not just
25
6 terminals and
chairs.
6 seats.
Cafes are more, aren't they?
It's
Well,
a-
we're talking about, now we're talking about what
Right.
defines a bar versus a
The,
cafe.
yeah, the PZHC was recommending for, in addition to the terminal seat, 4 additional seats. Other places have 10, other places, that, of these examples on this. So,
It's
I mean, I just wanna make sure we're going through all of the recommendations that PZHC made, because I know
Yeah.
they carefully consider this.
They do.
I'm okay with that recommendation.
And it is just a factor for meeting the definition of the gaming cafe,
Yeah,
one of the factors.
one of the factors.
And I went on GIS and did a quick measurement. And it looks like if I were to put the River Valley Mall, let's say the 505 building, and I move it over out east, by the time I get to Christina Drive, I'm at about 2,900 feet.
Okay.
So
So you
2,500
might be able to
feet
fit one
One over
correct,
in the Rock Road area.
east, correct.
That ain't so bad.
And I think that's safer than the limited number, which I think is gonna get us in like just a mess. I do agree it's hard to try to figure out who it is. The lease, they're gonna have to do a pending lease. And then, can we even give it with a pending lease?
Well,
I
we can
I
go
wouldn't
with
get
the-
caught up on the maximum number. It's, all it is just another layer of bureaucracy that has to, that they have to pass through. That's all it really is. We have a cap on our liquor licenses, and it's never been a problem to increase it.
To
We
move
do
it up. Okay.
all the time.
Right.
So what you're saying is it just making sure we have another level to make sure it's a qualified
Yeah,
business?
So we'll draft that
Okay.
the same as.
I see what you're saying now.
yeah.
Okay. I think we have enough to bring something back.
Okay.
Well, on the points of what define a bar versus a restaurant or versus a gaming cafe, I think those are important because you could just say, no, I'm actually a bar, but you are a gaming cafe. So I think it is important to talk through these, like the 4
Yeah.
seats outside. I think planning and zoning, it looks like they made it so that it doesn't affect any of our current restaurants or bars, because you have to have 25 seats. I think other places that say 10
Some
would
were
be
10,
much
yeah.
higher, so that would probably affect some of our downtown restaurants, but I think these don't.
Right.
So I feel comfortable with that on the 4. The presence or acknowledgement of video gaming in marketing would define them as a gaming cafe. So I like that that does prevent in our downtown everybody putting slots in the window and mailing out flyers for slots. So I like that being part of it. One thing that, well, I think if they have a commercial kitchen, they're automatically a restaurant and they're not a gaming cafe. So if they put that investment in, now they're not a gaming cafe. And then other factors as we described. But I think one that isn't in here that's in the others that I think would be helpful, because a lot of these you can kind of skirt around. Like if you're a gaming cafe, you're looking for a way to define yourself as not a gaming cafe. But if your revenue is 50% video gaming revenue, then you're probably, or higher than 50%, but you're probably a gaming cafe more so than a restaurant or a bar. So I like having some sort of, like that's the only catch-all that we can actually bring somebody forward and say, look, you're clearly pretending to be not a gaming cafe, but 90% of your income is from video gaming, and we can see that because it's on public websites, and just getting a statement of how much they've made in sales. So maybe 50% is a starting point. I think the others have 30 or 60.
Has 60.
But I'd like something in place that would be an actual objective number that we could enforce.
That's cool.
And looking at what people do make, like it's anywhere between, at the very lowest end, maybe like 10,000 to 200,000. So they would need to make sure that they're making you know, 5,000 in sales to, if they're the place that's making 200,000 a year, then they're selling 100,000 in bar stuff, which I think you would be if you're making that much. I think it's like a Banditos would bill more than 100,000 in a year, I'm sure.
I think that's one where I would say coming up with a percentage on a whim would not be good. Like if you
I'm with you
could
on that.
look and research and see what percentage would make sense. I think that, and throw that into the list. I don't know if I say 60 or 40, I'm doing it based on me not doing
Any research at all.
you know?
I think that they'd have to sell a lot of Cheetos to get
Exactly.
Yeah.
much
Well,
higher.
that's why I want to
much
consider
higher
that.
than 5% even, I would think, so.
Yeah.
I would say our existing establishments are making 95%.
Yeah.
Okay.
To
Yeah.
99.9% of their revenue.
So
in
I think
Yeah.
that 50% is a really low bar.
Yeah.
A really low bar.
It might
I
affect
think
some of
you're
our
right.
existing businesses at 50%.
All of which will be grandfathered in. None of these will apply to the existing businesses.
That's why I want to like look and see. Like, I don't know. See what makes sense.
I don't think we want,
Or don't even touch it.
well, I don't think we want gaming cafes that do half of their revenue
No,
from
the-
food.
and the
It's on
way.
purpose
and
of
the-
They
that.
don't have to do anything. If they're a gaming cafe, this doesn't affect them. This only
Right.
affects a bar.
Oh,
Not
Like
Yeah,
someone who
it's-
says, I'm not really a
Oh.
gaming
It's
cafe.
worded,
I'm a
I
it's
see.
worded, it's worded.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
thinking the other way around. We were
So
talking
the
about
wording
gaming.
is the annual revenue is at least 60% generated from video activities, or whatever percentage that we want. So,
So if a
Yeah.
bar does that, we say to them, hey, you guys are no longer a bar, now you're a gaming cafe.
Yeah, like they're
That's-
no longer invested in serving food or drinks. All they're doing is trying to sit people in that chair and sell nothing else. And that's when we say that's an issue. We want you to be a bar and a restaurant.
That's why I want to wait on that percentage and see what
Yeah, I would
these
say
numbers
hold
are.
off.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
staff should look into it. I mean,
It's easier
30
to
and
drop
60.
$20 in
are
2
established.
minutes than having a
Yeah.
$5, $6, $7 drink. So, I mean, gaming's a lot. They bring in a lot of money.
Some of the bars that are smaller.
Yeah. I mean,
well, the other,
You
the
might
other
change
way to look
Columbus
at
too.
it is,
I know.
don't we have a number for, bars that have video gaming? That, don't they have, it can't exceed a certain amount, that video gaming can't exceed a certain amount of their revenue? I thought we had something like that in,
We'll
I
have to
don't
do some
I
research
think
on
we
that.
currently
I
do.
don't recall that, but
Like our only definition for a gaming cafe is that that's their main focus or not.
right.
yeah,
Same
I'm
for
talking about,
restaurants,
I'm talking
Pretty easy
about
to get around that.
gaming licenses for restaurants and bars.
yeah. Can't-
Oh, yeah.
I
don't-
thought there was a
drawing a
percentage
blank.
that they couldn't exceed in a percentage in gaming and that,
Hmm.
Yeah, I will look into that. I do not know. off the
because
top
that
of my
might
head.
give us some insight into this.
Yeah,
They
that
might
would
be
be
on
that
that.
already
And we should
exists.
know anyway.
Because, I
if we're
mean, think
talking
about it.
this.
If you're gonna open up a gaming cafe, let's say within 2,500 feet, if you wanna open up a bar or even a bar restaurant, and you want gaming right away, you could bypass that 6 months by calling yourself a gaming cafe. And then, so call yourself a gaming cafe that's offering alcohol and food. So where do we, where
Well,
do we
that
define this?
prevents, they can't open up in the downtown. I think what I'm trying to prevent is somebody opening up a chain of a whole bunch of bars that are really gaming cafes, like buying that
Right.
strip mall across from Carol's or next to Vans and saying, let's divide it into the smallest possible footprints, put a whole bunch of just terminals in, and we'll call it a bar. Just
Right.
put soccer up and say we're a soccer bar, and as long as you put soccer on the wall, then our
I think
primary
that's what we're
interest
trying
is
to
just
avoid
soccer.
right now also, but
Yeah.
But 99% of our sales are video game.
do you have
So-
enough to go on?
Were,
I believe so.
were we good with their definition then, with planning and zoning for gaming cafe?
Wasn't
It was just
Well,
the one thing we
their
wanted to add was that percentage,
item-
correct?
What was the kitchen too?
They had the absence of a commercial kitchen.
Yeah, theirs seems to contradict what you guys want.
So
So we can't have both.
we
No.
do have a slightly different
Different approach.
recommendation than PZHC. which we've taken recommendations from PCHC and from staff. We've culminated it into what you all have given me, which we will now take back and redraft for your review and possible adoption.
What did we decide on the seating though? This is an interesting point that I think the number 4 that's on here is almost too high.
I mean, honestly, the seating right now in these places, it's like folding chairs. No one's ever gonna sit in those seats. No one goes there to sit in those seats.
Nobody's lounging.
Right. So
Nobody's-
why are we making that, well, we're not making them put, we're saying we're capping it and saying if you have more than 4 per terminal, then you're no longer a gaming cafe. Is that what
No,
we're
you
trying?
are a gaming cafe
No,
if you don't meet this.
it says 4 or less customer
Yes.
seats for each terminal. So if you have 5, you're no longer a gaming cafe.
I think what they're trying to do is protect our existing businesses from getting loopholed into this, or a new business from getting loopholed. That's how I read it, because it's like, all right, you have more seats, you're obviously trying to do more than just gaming.
Right.
So-
So that's why I'm saying 4 is almost too high.
I think,
Because-
isn't that the state law? Just having 4 seats in addition to the
I
games?
think it
Yeah, that's
We
the
can
only reason
confirm
that's
that.
there.
What's that?
The only reason that's there is that the state law requires there to be
4 or less.
an additional seat beyond the gaming seat to substantiate the fact that you could do something there other than game, but nobody does.
Yeah.
It's another one of those silly state requirements.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4 or less means you are a gaming cafe.
Right.
So yeah, I think all of our bars would be fine because they have 25 seats outside of
Oh, no.
video gaming.
I know that. I guess what I'm trying to say is,
Do we want to lower that number?
The number 4 seems
To
high.
2.
yeah, I'm just trying to say that
Not if
why
you
do we
can't,
want
not
a
if the
gaming
state says
cafe
something
with
different.
4 seats
Obviously,
per terminal?
They wouldn't, and that's what defines them. They'd have 0 to 1,
Exactly.
which is fine.
That's what I'm trying to say. Is
And
why
this
don't we
is-
make it 1? Because that's what you need.
Why do we
You need
make
one
it,
per terminal.
we might as well say you must have 12 folding chairs in the back room. Like, that's basically what it's saying, right?
Next to your box of Lay's.
You know, yeah, exactly, or whatever.
I mean, this requires our downtown restaurants and bars to actually serve people by saying you need at least 25 people who are being served. If you don't, you just
Yeah.
have 2 or 3, now you're a gaming cafe. So we're trying to incentivize that.
We just can't go below what the state minimum requirement is, and this state has a ratio requirement, so we'll certainly, I believe it's 4, which is why we're proposing it, we'll confirm that and make sure, because we would have to have that if, to stay in compliance with the state. Because it's licensed by the state, so the applicants and the owners have to comply with the state law as well.
We can
So
put-
it's not something that we could get
Right.
around through home rule
We
authority.
can put more restrictions on,
Yeah.
so we can go higher than whatever their minimum
No.
is. We just can't
More,
go lower.
that would be less restriction. Putting less, a lower number would be more restriction.
No.
No.
What is, okay, what is the goal of having this statement in the definition? Is it to say, if you have too many seats, we're not gonna give you a gaming cafe license?
No. It's saying if you don't have enough seats in your bar,
You're
then we
considered-
know you're actually a gaming cafe. There's no rule on a gaming cafe how many they have to have. They can have 0 if they want. They
If you
can-
have 4 or less, you don't have restaurant tables and are a restaurant, essentially. You know, because
Yeah.
all of the empty seats in a restaurant, you count
So
all
this
of
is not a
those, so-
regulation for gaming cafes, it's a regulation for, you're saying regulation for bars.
for bars. Because if you aren't
But it's not in
following
the bar
these,
code, it's in the gaming cafe code.
it's defining a gaming cafe. So if this sounds like you, you're a gaming cafe.
Yeah,
And our bars don't want to sound like this.
if you
They
have
want
less
to be
than
outside
this
of this.
per,
More chairs.
yeah.
But
It's a-
like, well, this is preventing if somebody buys the tiniest footprint building and fills it completely with gaming cafes, there's no room for anything else, and saying, I'm not a gaming cafe, I'm a restaurant
Yeah.
or a bar.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you need more chairs for other things. Taken to the extreme, I guess.
Okay.
Once
I think
again,
they got enough to go off
Yeah.
and then we can
Great wording.
revisit it again.
Go from there.
Okay.
All right.
Talk about it again next time.
Okay, staff reports.
Instant notification.
Did you have dinner?
You should have come. Could I do earlier?
Let's go to staff reports. Trustee Coonsey. Gang.
Well, yeah, I have no.
Trustee Saviano.
I can't even think of anything right now. I'm thinking of chairs. I'm no report. I think I'm.
Trustee Sauter.
No report.
Trustee Guma.
No report?
Trustee Eklund.
No report.
And Trustee Mahoney.
Just that we're having a community events meeting on the 14th, that's next Tuesday at 6.
Okay, Bill.
No report.
Caleb.
No report.
Bronco.
If the board members haven't already signed the flag in the back, please,
Oh.
go ahead.
Erica.
No report.
I think I'll probably put an email out. I just met up with the gentleman on Van Buren with the trees all cut down. Spoke with him, had kind of a verbal agreement. He said he's not gonna take down any more trees. That doesn't mean he can't. He can kind of take down as many as he wants right now. It might be something we want to bring up or discuss in the future in that area, because there's nothing in our ordinance keeping somebody from cutting down every single tree in that area. And we just read the proclamation,
Another time
so,
in the village,
yeah.
and then nothing happened.
Now, some of his trees were dead. I legit saw some of them, and they were pretty hollow and stuff, but that may be something we want to look at, so,
Thank you for doing that.
yeah, it's
I
been
mean,
fun, hasn't it? Bronco and I and Erica.
No, I mean, we were in, I mean, I drive back past that probably 5 times a week, and
I've
I
gotten
just,
so many
it's
emails and calls,
devastating.
it's crazy. But he has every right to do that, so I think we should visit it. Something that's gonna affect that area more so than somebody else just cutting down their tree because they wanna relocate, okay? Especially since we just did this proclamation too, so.
yeah, right?
Other than that, I have nothing. I do know we need to adjourn and we're gonna go to an executive session. So.
And which,
Rediscussing.
which reason?
I want to.
C11.
C11, is it?
Okay.
For
I will
C11.
move to close to the public and media under provisions of the Illinois Open Meetings Act, 5 ILCS 120/2 C11 pending litigation, and not returning back into public session.
I think it's probable litigation, or is it pending litigation?
My bad, did I give the wrong
Personal
one?
and legal.
You can correct me.
Oh, it's still C11, it's the same one,
Okay.
pending
Yeah.
or probable litigation, but
Alright.
I just.
My motion stands.
Sorry.
Second. Okay, we have a second.
Yeah.
Second.
Vote.
Okay. Trustee Coonsey?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
And Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
Can you give me these? Do we have any?
We have 3 4 signed. Do you want them?
That would be a lot easier.
Thanks for coming.
All right.
I think Trustee Mahoney has his hand.
Send
Flag.
Well, I got a flag.
And Trustee Oakland.
We'll be quick,
There's
so.
markers
I
in
put my name
We got
right
the
next to
fabric.
Andy.
the fabric.
Me and Andy.
good.
I even put a plus sign between us.
Mine said